For when they're really young.
You don't catch them young.
Before the athlete knows it, he has married. Unlike the way they, it helps. It's two ways. The white girl comes, the black man thinks it's upgrade. Unlike the black girl comes and the black man thinks, oh yeah, she's one of them. Man. The guy's coming.
All right. Time to wear as they say.
I'm not even in the mood.
Don't worry. This is the home of great sporting action. The locker room is where you are stepping into this hump of the week, Wednesday morning, 17 minutes past 8 a.m. Yours truly is Ayokunmi Kikireko. Excited to be here with you once again to talk about what's been going on in the world of sports. And I'm pretty sure you are as psyched as I am. Welcome once again into the locker room every Monday, Wednesday, and Friday. This is what we do on Smooth 98.1. It is going to be an action-packed show as always. And you know that I'm not the only one in the locker room at the moment. No, no, no. It is never, ever the locker room without the one and only Tega Supreme, looking all happy, bright.
Oh, one day you lie like this, your nose will just hit that mic. Boom! That's when you know. Good morning, everybody. It's a good day. I woke up happy when I woke up.
Now, I wonder what time that was.
Because I'm not even sure I'm awake now. So that's but I'm sure I'll be happy when I'm fully awake. All right. Good morning, everyone. What's the first thing that's happened? So they are in America. It's beginning to look like we know who the finalists are. The question is not if now; it's a question of when. So there's that. Then what else is happening? Yes, we go to Rome, where there are some tennis matches being played, and some big names have already fallen by the wayside. All right. Some people also forgot their rackets. We'll touch on that. And then we'll talk about football, where they started to do buying and selling. See why people should have played that your football. Just have small coconut head, play football. You would have had a fantastic life now.
See, eh?
If you see the way they and these days they're not even negotiating plenty. There's no haggling. How much is the player? Here, have it. There's not too much haggling. Maybe because Arsenal has not entered the market. Once they enter the market, they'll start to haggle like it's crayfish. But for now, they haven't entered the market.
1,000,001 pounds.
1,000,000 and 1 pence.
Wow.
We'll get to that. All right. So we'll talk about who is moving where and where are they moving to. And then we said that we're going to do a season wrap up. So today we will start the season wrap up. I'm afraid to ask where we should start the season wrap up, but since a lot of us are familiar with the Premier League, we'll start there. So today's season wrap up will focus on the Premier League. Teams, players who had a good season, who didn't have a bad season. Now, a good season doesn't necessarily mean they won trophies.
Well, okay. Yes.
So, if for instance, if you're watching the 100 meters finals, men and women's, if Nigeria finishes in top 3, if we finish in medal position, we have done well.
True.
But for the Jamaicans and the Americans, if they win the race, that's when they've done well. That's the difference between us. All right. So we are not asking who won medals, but who had a good season. We'll talk about all of that just to wrap up the show. So I want to hear from you. And Ayokunmi will tell you how you can be part of the show. So just prepare your mind, run your mind through the entire Premier League season. We're talking teams and we're talking players, all right? Ayokunmi will tell us how to be a part of the show.
All right, so you can join us to give your thoughts on the season wrap-up, the players, the teams that did exceptionally well this past season. The WhatsApp number to send your messages to, you can also give us a call there this morning if you'd love to express yourself via your voice. 0809 444 0981. 0809 444 0981. That is the WhatsApp number. YouTube, we're streaming live at Smooth 981 FM Lagos. Smooth 981 FM Lagos. You can plant yourself firmly in the front row seat and we'll take your thoughts. Uchenna Nwoko is already there as per the usual. But we'll begin in the NBA, heading to America, where Shai Gilgeous-Alexander produced a stunning performance as the OKC Oklahoma City Thunder beat the Minnesota Timberwolves to move within one win of the NBA Finals.
Oh yes, so after that beatdown, yes, after that beatdown by Timberwolves, where they lost by 40 something points eventually, but there was a time they were trailing by over 50 points.
Ridiculous.
And we're just like, this shouldn't be what we will see in the final. But after that, I think they woke up. There was this clip where Shea was sitting down with his teammates. You know when they're beating you, you start to analyze your failure yourself. So he was sitting down with his teammates and he was saying exactly how they lost the game. Oh, they came out, they were very physical from the very start of the game. They're physical from the jump up. They started attacking the rim aggressively. They played faster and better than us. By the time he now said, and we just couldn't wake up. So for us to make changes, we have to be prepared for physicality. Do you understand? He was telling his teammates, and this was not locker room talk. He was sitting on the bench. The game was still going on.
And he was doing all the analysis.
Yes, he was already doing the analysis there. And that's exactly what happened because Timberwolves was just like, we're 2 games down. We have to do something. And from the jump off, they became very physical, very aggressive, and they started making their buckets early when Thunders were still trying to wake up. By the time they woke up, they were 50 points down.
What a time to wake up.
What a time to wake up. So Shea had done the analysis. So I think by the time they got into the locker room, everybody had their own say because by the time they came out for this game 4, Timberwolves couldn't believe it was the same thing. It shocked them.
Are they wearing masks?
Like,
who are these people?
Is this Ninja Turtle or is this the NBA? What's happening here? Why is the guy I was bullying in the last game? Why is he suddenly bullying me? From jump off, every play was intentional. Especially when they got to the 4th quarter, every single play was intentional. So by the time it was game over, that's when they all rested. They played, they out hustled, they outran. If when the gap looked like it was going to be closed back, they'll extend it again. It was they intentionally took this game play by play, quarter by quarter, and they were able to get game 4. So now it's 3-1. Now, like I said, we have not seen a team come back from 3-1 apart from the LeBron James's Cleveland Cavs, but it is a rare occurrence. And so 3-1 will be tough for them, for Timberwolves to come back. So the question is, will they put up a big fight in game 5? Or will they lose it in game 5? The same question we are asking when we come to the Pacers versus the Knicks. Because early hours of the morning, first of all, Halliburton's father was allowed back into...
Why?
Everybody started saying that we should free him as if he was in jail. After harassing people. I think...
These are the issues we're having in modern day
we
life.
Became emotional. Actually, Charles Barkley, he's the one person that when I see, if I can reach him, I will put my right finger in his eye. If I can reach it. Because I'm not sure I can still reach, no matter how much he shrinks. But it became an emotional thing. Oh, his son is playing well, and his son might make it to the final. People should let him come back. They emotionally blackmailed, the NBA and Pacers to let him back. Anyway, he came back in. He started in the suite, but I can guarantee you, by the 4th quarter, he was right by the bench. And you see where the problems are. So, but he comes back into the building. They're in Indianapolis, so they're home and they're getting back into the game. They lost the last game by 6 points, and they were leading that game till the 4th quarter, where they were outscored by 36, I think, to 19. And so it was the same thing they did here. They knew that they were close. They had opened like a 10-point gap. And then they looked up and they said, this is 4th quarter. This is when we lost it last time.
We can't make the same mistake again.
You can't let it happen back to back. And so they played a brilliant fourth quarter. It was a horrible second half the last game, but this game they played a brilliant fourth quarter and they were able to win the game by 130 to 121. There was no defense in this side at the time of the game. They won the game by 9 points. So it's 3-1 in the East and it's 3-1 in the West. Now, most people already know that it's going to be Pacers versus OKC. The question is it going to end in 5 or is it going to end in 6?
That is the question. 3-1 in both games. As Thanos said, finally balance as all things should be.
Exactly.
All right, let's move on to the world of tennis and talk about the French Open, where Britain's Cameron Norrie claimed one of his best victories of the year with a 5-set triumph over world number 11, Daniel Medvedev, in a seesaw French Open first round match.
Yes, so first of all, Daniel Medvedev had complained about the French. It's like, I don't like to play mud, da 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 da.
Why did he come?
No, he always has to come. He has to. It's Grand Slam. You can't say that because you're not fine. You won't go to Christmas parties. You go last. They'll give you small chicken, but you go. So, as usual, Medvedev arrives and he thought he's won a trophy on he's won trophies on clay now, and then he's gone further in the French Open final. So he thought that he was getting a hang of it. They reminded him that this is 2017, 2018. I think this is 2017, 2018, 2019. I can't remember the year he went further than the first round, but 2023, then 2025. So he's lost a lot of times in the first round.
That is ridiculous for me for
Yes,
a highly ranked tennis
player,
player.
and he's ranked 11th this year. He used to be ranked higher. In all those times he was.
Come on, bro.
In all those times he was getting beat in the first round. So he comes again. He's trailing. He lost the first set. He served for the first set. Ended up losing it. Then he lost the second set, and next thing he won the third set. I said, we are going to a 5-setter. I left his match on. I went to watch Coco Golf. Coco Golf played her match. Coco Golf finished her match. These people were still here.
Doing what?
Losing in 5 sets. And so Cam Norrie trust me, it was a brilliant match. But it also came down to Medvedev's mindset. Because first of all, when it started happening, you could see him saying, oh, well, this is clay. This always happens on clay. So there was that mindset. He was coming back again. And then he gets into the 5th set. And he looked like he was the player with the momentum. Then he gets broken. And he loses. He broke Cameron Norrie. He served for the 5th set. He was broken serving for the 5th set. Then he lost the 5th set. The 5th set like the first set, and then he went home. So some people are not stunned that Medvedev is out because this is the French Open and this happens more regularly than you think. So I can't say Cam Norrie stunned Medvedev. I'd say Cam Norrie stunned himself. He probably looked at the draw and thought he was not going to make it through. Now he's made it through. I don't know many people that were surprised that Medvedev lost.
It's absolutely wild as a top-rated tennis player that you losing in the first round of a tournament would be the rule and not the exception.
It's crazy. That's what happened on the men's side. On the women's side, speaking of Coco Golf and her match, she first of all forgot her racket. Again, I don't understand how they are carrying their big bag and they don't know that the rackets are not in it because the rackets have weight. I've picked up a racket before. My hand almost left my body. So how are you carrying?
And in any case, the racket is a large implement. It's not like it's a small thing that is heavy.
Yeah, but
it's big.
Yes, they were holding the bag. She came with the bag. Then she opened the bag. I was like, where are my rackets? Auntie, who packed your bag? Is it me? But her team gave her the racket so she was able to play. Because when Tiafo did it, I was like, Tiafo is usually very scattered brain sometimes. So you expect that from him. But Coco?
Unusual stuff.
Unusual stuff.
Okay, before we go on this break, Tega, what happened to Naomi?
Again, it was a crazy draw. And I will say this. I don't think I understand why she's hard on herself. And at this point in time, I understand why she should be. Because she's playing great tennis. She's just not finishing off her games. She was up against Badosa. And yes, her rank is still low, but she's started climbing up with the win of that title. And Patrick is her coach. But she was too the thing about Clay is that you have to be consistent. You can't have highs and lows. Clay is very unforgiving like that because that's the way the ball bounces. The ball cannot be erratic and you be erratic in your performance too. And so she had a good first set. She made a few mistakes, a lot of unforced errors in the second set to let Badosa back in. But that third set, there was a time she had the momentum and she was hitting the ball. I don't know what happened. Maybe she got into her own head because she looked close to breaking Badosa, and then she went to serve, and that's when she was broken. Almost as if she was still thinking about how the fact that I could have broken and I'll be clear and dry. And then she now gets broken and she wasn't able to get back in. So she's playing good tennis. She's just not finishing the game. So I think that one is up here and it's something she has to overcome up here. She has to play without too much expectations on herself.
Right.
Because she gets into the media for the press conference and she's saying, oh, that Patrick goes from coaching the best tennis players to coaching whatever this is, like whatever she is. And you can't put yourself under that pressure. I know in your mind at some point you thought you were Serena Williams. You're not. Get with the program.
You're Naomi Osaka.
You're Naomi Osaka trying to write her own story. Whether you beat now Serena Williams or not is of no consequence here. You're Naomi Osaka. Extend some grace to yourself and play your game. She's in her head a little too much. She needs to get out of it.
Naomi, get out of your head if you want to go places. All right, let's go places now and take a quick breather. When we come back in, we'll head into the world of football and be taking a look at what's going on in that space. And of course, as we said, the season roundup, it begins here.
Don't mind that. Rather.
I was surprised.
I was so angry.
What
If you watch the match, you'll be upset. It starts with her playing brilliantly. It ends with her crying in the press conference room. I'm like, Auntie, what are you doing? This is all you now. You're not Serena. Leave matter. Because some people make things look effortless. Like Roger used to make things look effortless until I looked at his legs. Because every part of Roger's body is smooth. His legs. If you use his leg to flog palm tree, the palm tree will break. Because it was his movement that made it look brilliant. And so people just come in and say, I can do what he does. Okay.
Do maybe.
Exactly. That's what it is.
Drive easy.
Even Nadal and Novak Djokovic that won more Grand Slams than Federer, they know what they had to lose to do what he did. Do you understand? They know what they had to do. Novak Djokovic had to kill his game to play like that. Nadal had to kill his body.
He killed his body.
And then Roger was just waltzing on the. It's not easy.
And we're back into the locker room on a hump of the week, Wednesday morning. This is Smooth 98.1. Love music, love life. We love sports as well. It's 34 minutes past 8. Yours truly, Ayokunmi here. Tega Supreme in the building as well, looking all bright in her jacket right here.
I'm more awake now.
And she's more awake now. if you're on YouTube, you'll be able to see that. If you're not on YouTube, I don't know what you're doing.
I don't know.
Right now. YouTube, you can find us at Smooth 981 FM Lagos. Smooth 981 FM Lagos. WhatsApp, you can send messages in to the number 0809 444 0981. 0809 444 Those are the ways you can keep up with us in the locker room. As we said earlier, we're wrapping up the season, so we just want to know from a Premier League point of view, who are the players, the teams that had really good performance or really good seasons? Not necessarily teams that won trophies, but teams who performed well consistently over the season.
All right. So, but first of all, let's touch on some news coming out of Liverpool's victory parade.
Yes, very, very sad news there, as their captain, Virgil van Dijk, says that he's praying for a speedy recovery for those injured when a car plowed into supporters at the club's trophy parade. About 50 people, including 4 children, were actually injured when the car rammed into crowds during Monday's Premier League trophy parade in central Liverpool.
Yes, at some point we didn't know what it was. Some people were saying it's a terrorist attack, and they're talking about an attack like that in Spain, and then it turns out that the guy was just driving under the influence. A 53-year-old man.
That was
driving under
man.
the influence.
It could have been a whole lot worse than
It could have
that.
been a whole lot worse than that. So of course the police they're still questioning, and there'll be more information coming out of that. But Virgil van Dijk has sent out his prayers, and some other players to the people that were to the families and the people that were directly involved through that guy's bad, poor, ill-advised action. In this, so we pray for them. We pray we don't lose anybody. Especially they came out to celebrate their team
Mm-hmm.
and their team's achievement, and that's what happens. Meanwhile, the crowd was a lot this year. I remember one time I was saying Liverpool and their two fans. They were like, Tega, I'ma show you. They came out plenty this year. Oh. It's like people who hired fans, I mean.
That's a Man City thing.
They came up. No, no, no. It's only Man City that they don't have crowd. If they like, let them win World Cup.
They hire fans now.
Sorry, Tega. Did you say World Cup? But you know what I'm talking about. It doesn't matter what Manchester City wins. Their crowd will still be the same number. I don't know what they have to do to make people love them. Because if you're successful and nobody's loving you, there's a problem. Even Chelsea has people loving them.
I mean,
Do you
a lot of
understand?
people loving them.
So, but Liverpool, they came out in crowd. Speaking about crowd, did you see the crowd for the Arsenal Women's Champions League? Look, I tell
Right.
you, Nigeria, people are still behind. We need to get up. Super Falcons are in town right now. You know, they're playing the friendly against Cameroon.
Yeah.
I'm looking for a car that will drive me to Ikene. We'll sort out that later. Yeah, but yeah, I have to go to Ikene tomorrow. But you know, the Super Falcons are in town, and there's not much noise about it, you know.
Right.
But everybody's talking about the Super Eagles have gathered together for Unity Cup that they're playing today. You know, they're playing the Unity Cup match
They're playing Ghana today, right?
today. So Trinidad and Tobago and Jamaica
they played.
Yeah, yesterday. They're playing that one today. People are talking about the pool in the UK. They're never talking about the Super Falcons are just at your backyard here. Like if you get a good driver, which is what I'm looking for. So in case you know any logistics company, direct it to me. Direct them to me. To go to Ikene, they're just right there. Nobody's talking about them. If you saw the crowd for the Arsenal women,
It was wild.
it was wild. I saw fans. They were not rented though. There were plenty.
Real organic fans.
Real organic fans. I was like, is this what championship? Saka would think that they're having Christmas parade though. He doesn't know what this thing feels like. Take a leave Sakai alone. Take a leave Sakai alone.
What did Saka do to
He
you?
was injured. Take a leave Sakai alone. But you know what I mean? That kind of crowd, the Arsenal men will just be thinking that,
That could be the ginger for them. That the women did this.
if I hear,
We need to do the same
if
thing
I
on our
hear,
side.
nothing can ginger that Arsenal people. Even if you shock them with what they call that defibrillator, they will not jump up and win anything. If I hear, anyway, but it was great to see teams celebrate. And we're going to touch on the year of the underdogs too when it comes to our roundup. But year of the underdogs is not today. Today is Premier League Day. But yeah, sad. We're praying for the families, the 50 people that were involved, including the 4 children that were injured during that accident at Liverpool.
Right,
We're also
right.
celebrating with them. And I, Tega Onojiafe, I am celebrating with all the people that came out to celebrate the Arsenal women.
Yes, indeed. Yes, indeed. Good stuff all around. All right, let's switch gears and talk about Arsenal's London neighbors, Chelsea, where their manager Enzo Maresca said he had to convince his players that this season that the UEFA Conference League was the best competition in the world as he prepares his men to face Real Betis in Wednesday's final. And if you don't convince them,
Why do you even have to convince them? They should know that is the best that they can get, so they should treat it as the best in the world. Do you understand? It's what I tell people. You can't come out and write on social media and say my wife is not the most beautiful. No, she's your wife. She's the most beautiful.
by default.
Beauty is the eye. It's in the eye of the beholder. If you are not beholding her as the most beautiful, you are beholding something else. There's a problem with you. There's a problem with you. So this is the best competition in the world because we are competing in it. That's the way even the players should take it. But it's going to be really interesting. They come up against Real Betis.
Right.
In the final, and the Spanish team have not been known to hold up defensively. Now you may complain about Chelsea's goalkeeper, but with Real Betis, it's not just the goalkeeper; it's the entire back four. So you can complain about Chelsea's goalkeeper, but the back four sometimes protects him. When you see the likes of Colwill, the way they stand up and tossing, you think that they are protecting. It's 4th place you are protecting. Why are you shouting? But you see the way they protect, they do their job, they defend well. And I think that will be the difference in today's match, is that Chelsea doesn't concede as easily as Real Betis does. Um, but they also don't score as freely as Real Betis does.
There's
Mad
that.
as that. So but I think today will come down to whose defense is better. And I think with that, Chelsea just shades it a little bit. They are more athletic, the more athletic team. The Real Betis team's pace doesn't show up until the final third, which is the same way they play football in Spain anyway. The slow build up and then the pace and the final third. But with Chelsea, anybody can outrun you anywhere on the pitch. You just be running race with Kukurea. From the one end of the pitch to the other, it could be a struggle. So that athletic ability that Chelsea has and their defensive capabilities, which is better than the Real Betis own,
Right.
is what I think could just give them the edge. So I'm so happy because I have a lot of Chelsea fans and maybe barbecue something to eat.
The possibility.
Mm.
One thing I will say though is that Betis have one thing that Chelsea don't have: Anthony.
Come on then.
Let's talk about some money matters here in Emmanuel speaking. Lamine Yamal is in the news. He has signed a new contract until 2031
Yeah,
with the Catalan Giants.
that's how they keep them. They tried to do Chelsea contracts. They're 6 years, 7 years, but with Lamine Yamal especially, Barcelona had to lock him up. Especially as his agents were now saying that they should make him the highest paid player in Barcelona. I'm like, this people should not do this thing. Before Laporta's brain will touch, he'll say, "This Lamine Yamal, we have 10 of them in La Masia." You know,
In the days of Ronaldinho and co, this boy will not be.
this I'm telling
all
you,
this noise.
all this noise, he will not be there. But hey, what can we say? So they've signed him up to a contract, and they're trying to keep his two things. They're trying to keep his agency grid down,
Right.
because they don't want you to renegotiate here. And number two, they're also trying to show him how much they love him and how much they want to keep him because they're the ones that found the young one. They're the one that training the young man. Then people like Chelsea that will have money after I've sent the girl to school, you now come and marry her. That's what they don't want. They don't want to write stories on social media. They don't want to look red on social media. And they don't want Insta blog to carry them. So that's what they're doing, locking him up. Speaking of people moving, Cristiano Ronaldo has said this is the end of the road at Al Nassr. Where do you want to go to? We don't have money for you now.
MPFL.
That's what even the old league cannot put money together to pay your salary. What are you saying? Where do you want to go to?
Well, I also imagine that there's something cooking behind the scenes.
Where does he want to compete? Just collect your money. You're 40. Or you're almost there. One of the two.
I mean, well, I don't know. Well, he says the chapter is over, but the story is still continuous, something like that. I don't know what his plan is going forward, but I don't think there's something.
Okay, so
coming.
you know what happens with the Saudi investment fund now? They pay for the players for all the teams. They just decide you will go to this team and you go to that team. That's what the fund does. The fund is for the Saudi league, not for one team in Saudi. Right. So maybe he's moving from Al Nassr to Etihad or something.
Or Al Hilal or something like that.
Yeah, maybe. Because you can't live there, we don't have money for you. Just stay there and be collecting your pension. All right, on that note, let's take your wrap-ups. And let me make it interesting. So did Arsenal move forward this season or did they move backwards? Remember, last season they only finished second. This season they finished second, but they went all the way to the semi-finals of the Champions League. So let's start that theory from there. Liverpool obviously had a great team. So if you're mentioning Liverpool, we're going to read your thoughts. But answer my question first. Did Arsenal move forward or did they move backwards? Let's take those messages.
All right, let me start with this one. This is from Jesse just says, Tega, tea breakfast to you and my big brother. Please. The so-called backyard London teams did well, if you ask me. So let me rank their season in order of intent and relevance. Tottenham Hotspur, Europa, Crystal Palace FA Cup, Chelsea in conference final, Nemesis Anthony in waiting. See, I told you. Arsenal FC, arguably the pride of London, as I heard, to win Emirates Trophy during pre-season, and you'll never walk alone.
Okay, so the London teams did good, in your opinion.
Okay. Well, it says, Tega, I didn't start the show. What was the result of the Pacers and Knicks game?
Pacers beat Knicks, so 130 to 121.
All right, Iron Festac says, my team of the season is definitely Nottingham Forest. I kind of agree. Tega, your hair is beautiful. Right?
Thank you.
Why do they take Super Falcons matches to states like Delta where there's strong women football history and tradition? Good question. Tayo says, welcome back from a Man United sabbatical. Season never start again. Tayo, relax. I hand the club over to you. We're not counting on your support from Malaysia. The team I supported was Man United because Ayo abandoned them for greater glory like Tottenham. I think there's more to that incident than drunk driving. The fans also came from the men's squad because trophy is a rallying call. He says Arsenal remain the same, no loss or gain. In his perspective, this is Imande, if I got this correctly. Forest had an incredible season.
I'm
Forget
with
their
you.
owner
Yes.
crashing out on Nuno Santo at the
Yep.
end, but qualifying for Europe was quite an achievement. At the point, they were strongly holding down UCL Sports. Players that impressed me, Brian Mbomo, Johan Vissa, Alexander Isak were my top players.
Oh, fantastic.
All right, Ewan Onuru says Roberts just might have that winning edge over Chelsea tonight and win the Conference League. Lamine Yamal is here to terrorize world football with his new Barcelona contract. As for Arsenal, stagnancy is their middle name.
Oh.
Ouch. Biggie in K2 says, Tega, Chelsea's not winning anything tonight. Make them use top for whole body. Arsenal men should be ashamed of themselves. They packed themselves to watch the women's final. An hour for them. Second best graduating club for 3 seasons in a row.
So some people are saying Arsenal did not do better. Let's hear from you two people. Maybe they are kinder then.
Richard Nawokoye says, yeah, of the underdogs, Betis plays good football and can cause an upset. 50-50 in my books. Then we're with PSG versus Inter Milan. United, please do massively in this transfer window. We don't have money. We don't have money. Padre Payo says, should be given an award as player of the season. Mbok, it's not easy. Padre, I'm blocking you. El Robert says, I think Newcastle, Crystal Palace, and Chelsea, if they win the Conference League, had a good season. Crystal Palace, first trophy ever. Newcastle, a cup and Champions League. Chelsea, a cup and Champions League. Cup, not yet. Padre says, Liverpool, Newcastle, even Arsenal had good seasons.
I would say the people that walked, because everybody's just ignoring Una Emery. He's playing in Europa this season. League. Europe is not Europe. Forget that a man no be man. Say bring anyone, man na man. No, Europe is not Europe. So I think Aston Villa walked backwards.
I would agree.
Because you can't go to Champions League once season.
The Spurs have a good season.
No, even with the Europa, they absolutely did not. I will not forgive that behavior. They did not have a good season. They can't even use, you know how bad their season is. They can't even use trophy to plaster it.
That's how terrible it was.
That's how terrible. You finished 17th. You and Southampton in the same boat. The difference is you're in the front, they're in the back. What are you telling me? People say Spurs did not have it. I don't care how many Europas you win. Cannot take away the shame of 17th.
Kosikol says Arsenal fell off. Their points last 2 seasons would have won them the league. Well, just as somebody else got more points than them. So
yeah, so I think because even people that finished, they didn't get the points that Arsenal got in the last 2 seasons. So right. Last season, so it's okay. So I think Aston Villa walked backwards. I don't think Spurs has a great season regardless of the Europa. I think Chelsea had a good season because they've upgraded to Champions League. I think Arsenal were stagnant. I think that's the word I would use. They didn't have a good season. They didn't have a bad season.
If they had won at least, maybe they would have
yes,
said, okay,
I would have said, okay,
we've moved forward.
Yeah, but they did. They were just stagnancy is bad than walking backwards. Because when you walk backwards, you want to improve. But when you're stagnant, you don't think you need change. That's why Mikel Arteta said we played the better football and lost. So which match were you watching? All right. On that note, I want to thank you for messages for tuning in to Smooth 98.1 FM to listen to for streaming on YouTube. And thank you for the compliments for my hair. On the league final today.
That's right.
And then we'll be back on Friday with more banter and analysis because the Champions League is taking place over the weekend.
Yes,
Champions League final.
Saturday.
Yeah, it's taking place over the weekend. So we'll talk about all of that and more when we come back on Friday.
All right, Tega, thank you so very much. Have a great Wednesday. And Lagos, thank you for being a part of the show. Keep you tuned to the Smooth Breakfast. Lagos will get talking at 9 o'clock on Lakers Talks.